Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video, we're going to be looking at the top figures from 2015. Now before we get into the figures, there are just a few things I want to say because it's the end of the year and I want to address a few things. First of all, we've reached almost 60,000 subscribers, so I do really appreciate all the support you guys have given me. You've spent countless hours watching these videos. I think it's like over 53 million minutes of watch time, so I really do appreciate that. It's super awesome. So that's really cool, and I love that we're growing the channel, and I'd like to hear what you guys liked from this year. Some things, I've changed a lot of things, I've done some things differently, I've added some things, so let me know what you liked, and let me know what you would like going forward, or what maybe you would like me to not do going forward. Whatever it is you have to say, I'm interested to hear it, so please put that in the comment section below. One thing I want to comment on, or it's kind of like two things really, is Facebook and Twitter. I post things on Facebook and Twitter that don't make it to YouTube. So if you're interested in behind the scenes type of things like work in progress pictures or just pictures of my cat trying to suffocate himself while I play video games, things like that, you know, the good stuff. Check out my Twitter page, and all these things are linked in the description and on my channel page. So check out Twitter, check out Facebook. There's a whole lot of people here that aren't there, and I have a feeling some of you might have those accounts, so give it a look, see if there's some stuff on there that you might be interested in. That would be cool. And then lastly, I want to thank the people that have helped me out through Patreon. It does help, so I really do appreciate that, so thanks a lot to you guys, and I hope you're enjoying, you've said you are, enjoying the content that I've provided for you exclusively, so thanks a lot for all of that support. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the top 10 list. We're going to start off with some honorable mentions because there were a lot of good figures this year, and some of the selection, it's not arbitrary, but there's just so many good figures. I had to pick and choose however best I could figure it out. So some of them didn't make the cut, obviously. So some that I really liked that didn't make the cut are going to be in the honorable mentions sections, and then we'll go on from there. So before we get into the countdown, we're going to take a look at some honorable mention figures, and that's just because there are so many good figures that came out this year that I wanted to throw in a couple extras that really could have made the list. And since this kind of list is mostly subjective, these figures, like I said, could easily be on it. They're still really good figures, but for me, they just didn't quite make the cut. So the first of which is the PlayArtSky variant Boba Fett, which is a really fantastic figure. There's a whole lot of nice stuff going on with this guy. It just has a few issues with it that kept me from wanting to put it on the list. One of which is that the head is just slightly too small, and the feet have kind of a strange design. The way they connect is not bad by any means. It's just a few things, like I said, that keep it from being just that little bit extra that makes it belong on the list. So we have the PlayArtSky variant Boba Fett. Next up, we have the Marvel Legends Age of Ultron Thor, which is a really, really nice Marvel Legends figure. It still has a few issues with it, just in general design. The face sculpt isn't the best, and some of the articulation doesn't work quite that well. But this guy is a good example of what Marvel Legends should be. He's got a lot of paint applications, and for the most part, good articulation. He comes with an accessory, and it's just a very nice Marvel Legends figure. It's just not quite there, not quite good enough to make the cut. So we have the Marvel Legends Age of Ultron Thor. Next up, and these are in no particular order, by the way, these are just any way I grab them is how they're coming up. We have the Mezco Mortal Kombat X Sub-Zero. Now this is the exclusive version, so he, honestly speaking, any of the Mortal Kombat figures could have taken this spot. They are generally all about the same quality. I just think this one is particularly nice the way they have the translucent plastic with the paint job. It's just a really cool looking figure. It's just because of the limitations to the articulation, despite the fact that he's mostly got all the articulation you would want, the range of motion is just fairly limited, so that's why he didn't make the proper top 10 list. Same thing goes for all of them. They all have the articulation, it's just not quite where it needs to be. So next up we have the Terminator 2 Judgment Day T800 Ultimate figure, which is a really, really nice figure. There's a great likeness to Arnold there. He's got a lot of nice accessories, a lot of nice detail throughout the figure with the sculpt and paint. It's just very, very well done. Just a couple things holding it back, one of which is the ankles. They don't really pose that well, which means the posing for the figure is very limited. And then the fact that we don't have a gun holding hand for his left side. He only has this secondary kind of shotgun holding hand, so you can't make him hold the pistol in one hand and then the other gun in the other hand like he did in the one iconic scene toward the end of the movie. So that's why he didn't make the cut, unfortunately. It's a really, really nice figure. I still highly recommend it. Just those couple little issues kept me from putting him on the list. Next up, we have the SH Figuarts Android 16, which is a really, really great figure. Love this guy. Just a couple issues with him in that the size, he should probably technically be a little bit bigger, and then the shoulders are kind of weird looking, and just a few little nitpicks that he's still a good figure, but they keep him from making the cut. Still definitely recommend him. Obviously he made the honorable mentions list. Very cool figure, just not quite cool enough. And then lastly, for the honorable mentions, we have the Figma Satsuki Kiryuin, which is from Kill la Kill, and despite the abundance of cleavage and lack of clothes, it's still a really, really good figure. It's got great engineering, great paint application, good sculpt all around, very nice looking figure. Basically, the only reason I didn't put it on the list is that it's really hard to stand. The weight issues due to the hair are problematic, and posing also due to the hair, somewhat problematic. So it's a fantastic figure, really, really well done. Just not quite where it needs to be to make the actual top 10 list. Still very good, and I do recommend it. Alright, so let's get into the proper top 10 list. Coming in at number 10, we have the NECA quarter scale Arkham Knight Batman. This figure is just fantastic. There's so many great things about it. They really packed a load of articulation into this guy. The paint details, the sculpts, he comes with some nice accessories. It's a really great figure. I think the shining part of this figure, though, the best thing that I was most impressed with is actually the cape. Most times on figures, you don't get a good soft goods cape. It's very hard to get it accurate, and I know it's a little bit easier on a quarter scale, but they just really nailed it with the two different finishes. We have actually three. We have this one that looks more like leather, this one that looks like a different material here, and then the bottom, which is a third material. So they really just nailed it, and the way that's connected under the shoulder pads, really impressive. I love the way they did that, so you can bring the cape back if you want to, or bring it forward, just like in the game. It's very, very well done. The only reason this guy's not higher up on the list, actually, is just that it's hard for him to bring his arms down to his side. You'll see right here, that's pretty close to as far as they'll go. It does get a little bit problematic in posing. It's not a huge deal, so because of that, and then just the fact that his chest is slightly too narrow compared to the game, and I understand they did that to be able to bring the arms farther forward, but still, it does detract a little bit from the look of the figure, so it couldn't go higher up on the list, but honestly, it's an incredibly impressive figure. For the price point, it's just absolutely stunning that they were able to create this figure for, I think it's like $100. You can't beat it. It's a giant figure with great detail, great articulation, great size, great likeness. Everything about it is just really good, other than those two tiny little issues. So that's why it makes the top 10 list, just doesn't make it any higher than number 10. Coming in at the number 9 spot, we have the True Force Collectibles Mega Man X, which is obviously a very, very nice figure. It made the top 10 list, so that tells you a lot about it. This guy is just loaded with detail, loaded with articulation. The paint apps are good. The sculpt is nice and crisp. It's a really, really fantastic figure. We have some nice accessories that come with him. Just really, really well done. Probably the best Mega Man figure ever, so that's a pretty good thing. That's very nice. The only reason it's not higher on the list is the price tag. You are definitely paying for all of that quality. Now, that's not to say that it's overpriced, but when you have a higher price tag, you're going to have to consider what they do for less money in other figures when you're making a list like this. The list isn't completely arbitrary, but we have to use something as criteria. So the fact that this guy does come with a pretty hefty price tag is why he's not higher up on the list. Still an absolutely great figure. As you can see, he's just chock full of detail. Wonderful, wonderful figure. I can't recommend it enough. It's just not cheap enough for the size to put it higher on the list. I know that sounds weird, but like I said, I have to grade these somehow. So if this guy was maybe $60, he'd be the number 1 spot, no doubt. But since he's $100, he's a little bit farther down on the list just because you're getting what you pay for, but I feel like that's really at the limit of what I would pay for something like this. At the number 8 spot, we have the SH Figure Arts Age of Ultron Captain America. This figure is a really nice one. It's got some decent accessories. I like the way they handled the shield and the way he can hold it. It's got a pretty nice sculpt, but the reason he's not higher up on the list is because the sculpt in some places is a bit of a letdown. The chest is really round rather than chest shaped, and the eyes are really problematic. Some people didn't have an issue, some people did. I'm one of those people. Quite often the eyes are not quite lined up the way you would want them to be, so it does make posing him a little difficult. He can't really look straight ahead for me, so that's why I didn't go higher on the list. It's still a really good figure, as you can see. Lots of sculpted detail, lots of painted detail. Definitely has nice posability. Very, very good figure. It's just those couple issues. If they weren't there, then he would be a shoe-in for a higher spot. But he's still a really good figure despite those flaws, so that's why he made the cut, and I think you should probably check him out. If you are a Marvel fan or an Avengers fan or a Captain America fan, this is a figure you're probably going to want to add to your collection. I definitely recommend it. Just those issues keep him from being any higher on the list. In the 7th spot, we have the Play Arts Kai Halo 2 Master Chief. Now this guy is just a really great figure. It's probably the best Master Chief we've gotten to date. I suspect the Halo 5 one might rival it, but so far, it's easily the best Master Chief. They nailed it in the sculpt, they nailed it in the paint. It's a very, very good figure. He's really posable, comes with nice accessories. It's just easily the best Master Chief figure I have. The only issues are that it still has the tiniest bit of stylization. You can see the visor is kind of bulbous just a little bit, and then that two-tone green paint. That's not quite accurate for this version of Master Chief. I can see why they did that, but it doesn't look quite right. So it holds him back from being further up on the list, but it's still a really, really great figure. As you can see, it's just looks very nice. It looks almost like it came right out of the game. Remember, Halo 2 Chief was a little bit taller and lankier, so that's why he does have those proportions, but it's still a really cool figure, and I do love it, and I think you will too if you're a Halo fan. It's a must-have, no doubt about it. Easily belongs in the top 10 list for this year. For the number 6 spot, we have the Variable Action Heroes One Piece Portgas D Ace figure. Now this guy is probably my favorite figure of the line so far. They really nailed every part of the figure. The only reason this guy's not higher up on the list is a couple of his joints are a little bit loose. That's it. It's a really, really great figure. You can see the sculpt on the anatomy is just fantastic. The articulation is great. One joint is stuck, which is the left butterfly joint for his shoulder. But other than that, it's just absolutely great. We have tons of interchangeable parts, loads of detail. The sculpt is fantastic. The range of motion for the joints is fantastic. Everything about this guy is just super impressive. It's one of my favorite pieces in my collection at this point, I think. It's just a really, really solid figure. It does have a higher price tag, but I think the general look of the figure and the way they made it, it easily stands up to that price point. So I think you would like it. Even if you're not a One Piece fan, this is a really solid figure. Really, really nice. Just those darn loose joints they have. Mega House needs to work on a few things while they're making these figures, but they really knocked this one out of the park. I can't recommend it enough. Absolutely love this figure, so he definitely belongs in this top 10 list. For the number 5 spot, we have NECA's Heroes of the Storm Illidan figure. And this guy comes in at the same price point as just about your average 6-inch domestic figure, and he is loaded with way more detail than we're getting from just about any other company. He's got great articulation, great sculpt work, great paint work, really fantastic figure, and he's got some nice size to him. The only thing holding this guy back is that some of the articulation is rather limited in the range of motion. For the most part, it's really well designed and well executed. Just a few joints like the shoulders and the elbows could have a little bit better range of motion, but that being said, there's a reason he made the top 5 spot on my list. I mean, it's just a really fantastic figure, all unique sculpt. You can see, obviously, the paint app is great. The 2 greens on those tattoos, the loincloth piece, just everything about it, really, really impressive looking. I definitely recommend basically everything NECA puts out at this point, but especially the Heroes of the Storm line. This guy, I have no ties to the character at all, but I love this figure. It's one of my favorites, and so I definitely recommend it. For the number 4 spot, we have NECA's Heroes of the Storm Arthas figure. Now this guy, as you can see, is just chock full of detail. Everything is sculpted on this guy, everything is painted, and despite being particularly bulky, he has a rather impressive range of motion for all of the articulation. Only things holding this guy back are the fact that the shoulder pads do get in the way for some of the poses, and that the soft goods kind of stand out as being a little bit too bright up against the rather worn look of his armor. It does take a little bit out of the figure, but it's also one of the best things about the figure, just that they managed to nail the soft goods. Very nice, appealing figure. Just a few things I would tweak differently. You know, everybody's got their own taste, and for me personally, a few little issues on this guy, but still, just so much sculpted detail, so much painted detail. He easily belongs in the top 10 list, and NECA just really nailed this line so far. This guy's a great example of that. Very, very impressive figure. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have the Robot Damacy Shining Gundam. This is just a really, really well done Gundam. Everything looks good on this guy. The paint applications are great. The interchangeable armor pieces, the collapsible shoulder pad, the interchangeable heads, everything. He's got great accessories. Just a really, really impressive Gundam. In fact, this is my favorite Robot Damacy figure to date. It's just really, really well done. The only issues on this guy are that he has a couple of loose joints, and there are a couple of joint designs that I'm not particularly fond of. But those things aside, you can see just very nice presence, just really, really well done. Again, if you are new to Robot Damacy, this is one I would definitely recommend you start with. It's a great indication of how good the line can be. They nailed it. I might be a little bit biased because I really like the Shining Gundam, but from an objective perspective, I do really like this guy, and I think you guys will too. So he belongs in the number 3 spot. If he didn't have some loose joints, he would easily rival our number 1 spot, which we'll get to very shortly. Coming in our number 2 spot, we have the Play Art Sky variant Darth Vader. This is one of the most impressive Play Arts figures that I have in my collection. I think they absolutely nailed the feel of Darth Vader. I think the only people that might not like this are the people that are going to be true diehard fans of the classic design, but I feel like this is a more realistic look for Darth Vader, and they somehow captured the feel without making it look too much like the original. It's still fairly basic looking, fairly sleek, but has all those nice little details built into it. You can see the sculpted cloth here tucking into everywhere, into the belt, and continuing down here. There's cloth sculpt work just about everywhere. There's cloth, so that's really nice. We have the nice armor additions built into him. It's just very, very, very well done. The paint applications are good. Sculpt is good. Range of motion is good. There's almost nothing about this figure that I don't like. Obviously, that's why he's in the number 2 spot. He just easily one of the best Play Arts figures in my collection, and I have quite a few of them, so I think if you're looking to pick these up, especially with Star Wars being hot right now, you should really track down this Vader. Beware of bootlegs, but this guy is one you want to have in your collection for sure. They nailed it, and I recommend it 100%. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, we have the SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z Awakening Goku. This figure is the whole package. For the price point, he is just absolutely loaded with articulation, sculpt, and paintwork. It's just everything about this guy is really, really good, except the only ding I would give it is the shading in the hair, which under the right lighting, as you can see, doesn't look too bad, and the fact that the blue and orange on his outfit are somewhat faded looking. Other than that, he is just a tremendously well done figure. You can see the sculpt work for the anatomy is really well done. The paint work to shade the skin is just great. The face paint looks really nice. Everything about this guy looks really good. And like I said, he's loaded with articulation, so you shouldn't have any trouble posing him. And he's just going to look really darn cool on a shelf, especially up against the other Dragon Ball Z figures. But even by himself, if this is the only SH Figure Arts figure you have, I think you'll be just fine. If you haven't gotten one yet, you absolutely need to get one. It's a fantastic figure. He definitely belongs in the number 1 spot this year. Bandai knocked it out of the park with this one. I can't really recommend him enough. He's a great figure, so make sure you get one before you can't get one anymore. So that does it for the top 10 list, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you like this top 10 list, or if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section below. Like I said, it's a very subjective type of thing to make this sort of list, so I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. So make sure you do participate in the conversations below. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts, and I thank you guys for another great year, and here's looking forward to a new one. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video.